Hey Dude,
The 90s Called.
with Christine Taylor and David Lascher.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Hey Dude, The 90s Called. I'm David.
Hi David, I'm Christine. It's good to see you.
What's up? I'm wearing a pink sweatshirt around my neck.
For those who are listening, I mean, I'm sure by this point, if you're listening, there will probably already have been a photo of what the two of us look like right now in honor of our guest.
You know,
and we're both wearing pink. David has a very baby pale pink sweatshirt tied around his shoulders, looking adorable. And I have a very shocking hot pink sweater wrapped around my shoulders.
That's like neon.
It's very neon. I know.
Pink.
And I have a lot of other little pink things. I just didn't have enough notice to pull them.
Well, you know, when Lorraine said you guys should wear pink for Wednesday, I had never seen Mean Girls.
Well, exactly, because you're a dude. However, you do have daughters.
And they love the movie. And I can't believe I never saw it. But I just watched, I watched an hour of it this morning. And they invite Lacey, our guest, to come have lunch with them. And they go, oh, on Wednesdays, we all wear pink.
Exactly.
And then it clicked. I'm like, oh, that's why she wants us to wear.
Yes. Now, I mean, let's set for the record that, you know, that they were mean girls who would only wear pink. We're not mean people doing this. We're doing this in honor of an iconic movie. But I was a victim of one of those like mean girl things back in the day.
Oh, no. Who was it? I'll go find. I'll hunt them down.
I know. But it was, you know, here's the thing. I feel like we talked about this, I think, a little bit with Elisa when we had her on. And, you know, you have daughters. I have a daughter. I don't know how much we've evolved as a society when it comes to teenage, high school and teenagers. And there's always mean girls. There's always mean boys. There's always mean people, right? In school that I mean, I'm seeing it through my kids. I mean, there's always.
Yeah, but I think they've gotten meaner.
Do you think?
Well, listen, that movie was.
There's other ways to get to be mean nowadays. Yeah.
Right. There's more inventive ways to trap people and bully them. But listen, that movie was supposed to be a parody of how not to act.
But
I feel like our society looked at it like, oh, I want to be one of those.
Well,
mean girls.
Yes, right. And Heathers sort of was the precursor to that too, which Heathers was sort of like our generation, right? Like I almost feel like maybe maybe the first time I saw Heathers might have been with you. Is that possible?
With Christian Slater doing his best Jack Nicholson impression. Yes.
So it felt like Heathers was they were sort of like the OG Mean Girls. And then Tina Fey did a very creative version of, you know, because that was the very dark version of it. But
it's so good. And the one scene where Rachel McAdams calls Lindsay Lohan and says, you know, their mutual friend told me you have a crush on my ex-boyfriend. Aren't you mad at her? Because that's a really bitchy thing to do. And the girl's on three-way listening to the phone call.
Exactly.
And she goes, I just survived my first three-way attack.
We're going to have to talk to Lacey about it because it really is iconic. I mean, she's, you know, we'll talk to her all about that stuff. But yeah, I really was a victim of one of those mean girl things. And it wasn't even high school. It was elementary school. And by the way, we were all guilty of it at the time. I mean, we were like 10, 11, 12, I don't know, maybe 11 or 12 years old.
I doubt you were ever mean to anyone.
Yes, of course I was. I mean, I don't think I always, I don't think I went out of my way to be, but I think sometimes like you get caught up in something and you can see it much clearer now. But I just remember it was very similar to the wearing pink. It was like all the girls said we're all wearing like, and by the way, this is pre-Heathers also too. So this was just like, you know, manifested, you know, in the, I don't know, microcosm of Catholic school boredom, probably. And I remember the girls saying we're all wearing ponytails tomorrow with white ribbons in our hair. ponytails with white ribbons. And like everybody was clocking it. And then another friend came up to me and said, that's not what's happening. Everybody's wearing duck shoes tomorrow, but they're not telling you. And you're going to be the only one not wearing
what is duck shoes?
duck shoes.
That sounds like a setup to me.
By the way, this is also another very like niche. Go to the LL Bean catalog. They had these like, they were called like duck shoes. They were like rain shoes kind of. This is not 90s, guys. This is 80s because I'm old. But no, they were like, you could get them in blue and green. They were kind of like, I don't want to say jellies. I don't know. But they were like rubber shoes, essentially. But they were kind of cool at the time. You got them from the LL Bean catalog. And I think they were also in the Preppy Handbook, which was very popular at the time, too. There was a Preppy Handbook, which was also sort of very tongue-in-cheek, but I think my friends and I took it very seriously.
You were a preppy?
I was a preppy. But I had a friend who gave me the red alert, who was basically, she told me that it was a con and I was going to wear the white ribbon and they were all going to be wearing duck shoes. And I got ahead of it. And I don't even remember what I did. I don't remember how I handled such catastrophe in my life.
Wow, you unraveled the con setup before they got you.
I had a friend on the inside. I had a good one on the inside.
We have a 13-year-old, and I got to tell you, everyone in our house is scared of her. It's a crazy age. They have no inhibitions at all. I mean, they just say whatever they want. They will go for the jugular. It's like crazy.
It's so funny that you said that because living with a teenage girl, everyone tiptoes on eggshells around it. Everyone is afraid of saying the wrong thing, of walking in and having the wrong look on your face, of the wrong food being cooked, and God forbid it doesn't smell good. I mean, you're absolutely
Amy Poehler's character? Did you?
Exactly. That character is so great. She's
like, Mom, will you shut up and stop talking?
No, it's genius.
Lindsay Lohan walks into Rachel McAdams' bedroom. She goes, I love your bedroom. She goes, yeah, it was my parents. I made them switch with me. She got the master.
Oh my gosh. But yes, yeah, you know it. You're living it. You are in it. You are still in it. I'm out of it. I feel like I've come out on the other side. I survived the teenage years.
Everyone should live with a teenage girl at one point in their life. It builds character. It thickens your skin.
Makes you stronger.
You know, someone once told me, this is hilarious. You'll love this because you're a sports fan, that being a parent of a teenage girl is like being an athlete at a visiting stadium where the crowd is screaming at you suck. You're the worst. Get the hell out of here. Right. And they're just like, I don't hear you. I don't hear you.
Exactly. Oh, that is such a good analogy. I love it.
Right.
It's so perfect. Yeah, because you really do just have to learn to ignore it and move through it and just let it roll
off. Don't react to it. Do not react to it.
Do not react at all.
Because then it just gets worse.
That just ignites the flame, lights the fire. But yeah, that is this will be really fun to talk to Lacey, because I still also see her. I mean, that movie, she is fully grown up, but I still have the memories of her from
Party of Five.
Party of Five with that little baby face. I mean, she was, young. She was, but not a baby, but she was so young. And so I really want to hear, since we've got such great insight from Scott on what it was like being on that set, when he was older, for Lacey, who really grew up on it, will be really great to hear about. And then I spotted another really great little credit on her.
Wow. Which one?
I had no idea she was in the Broadway production of Les Miserables.
I knew you were going to say that. She played Cosette.
Anytime there's a musical theater credit. Speaking, she's here. So we'll put a pin in my musical theater segue for another time. Let's invite her in.
I think she'll notice our ping.
We're such nerds.
Should we just not say anything?
I know. Just totally.
Hi.
Hi, Lacey.
Hi. we're dressed for you in
It's
honor
Wednesday.
of you.
Oh my gosh, it's Wednesday. Oh my gosh, I forgot. You guys are on it. Way more than I am.
You don't need to do that. You're well past that. You
probably
in fact
getting-
look gorgeous in purple. It's a perfect accent for our pinks.
So kind. You're so kind.
This
Thank
probably
you so much.
gives you PTSD, right? We always wear pink on Wednesday. And you are invited to have lunch with us.
Oh my gosh, I can totally sit with you guys. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. We know how busy you are. And we were just both talking about, really, like we went on and on about Mean Girls to start, which we'll get into that. But
Okay.
I still see your face on Party of Five. Like I still see, like you have the exact same face. You're just now a beautiful young woman. But you grew up on that show.
You're so sweet. Thank you. I did. I was 11 to 17. So it's pretty much every phase, teenage phase, that a young woman goes through. And when I think back on it now as a mom, especially now, like I am so lucky that I was surrounded by such wonderful people. Everyone was so kind and nurturing and just helped me through those, awkward teenage years. And I have the best memories from the show.
Yeah, those
So
are
wonderful.
big years, 11 to 17. We were just talking about, I have a 13-year-old daughter, and I was telling Christine that we're all like scared of her. They're very dangerous.
It's a dangerous breed.
Yeah, unique years. But you were working probably 12-hour days and like a professional, and surrounded by Scott and all those amazing people. It's like, so are you happy you had those years on set, or do you feel like you missed out on stuff?
I'm really happy I had those years on set. I have so many memories from the show, and it was a little bit of a different way of growing up, and not everyone can relate to it. But like I was saying before, they were the best people. And it was interesting because sometimes my character would go through things in life on the show that I had yet to actually go through in life. Like my first kiss and all of this kind of embarrassing stuff. But everyone around me was so sweet about it. And I loved every part of it. I was heartbroken when the show ended. But the good news is so many of us are still very, very, very close. They're a part of my life now. And it's been nice to grow up together and become parents, most of us together, and, go through different phases of life together.
That's so wonderful.
We had Scott on twice. We had a reunion of the movie White Squall, which I did with Scott, with the whole cast. And then Scott came back as his own guest, and he told this story about the Party of Five was originally supposed to be like an animal house, like a kid's frat house with no parents, and not the, drama, the serious show that it became.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear that?
I don't think I knew that as a kid on this show. I've definitely heard that in years since. But the show was very dramatic and, obviously the characters were also vulnerable and they were all going through very real things. And the show tackled a lot of really real, mature issues. And I appreciate it so much now, especially looking back, but I did then too, just how good the writing was. It was so well written. And
that's exactly what
everything.
Scott said. Yep.
Oh, really? Did he? Yeah. Yes. I love him so much. But it was just so well written. And I occasionally I'll see an episode online or something and here or there, and I'll be like, oh, I forgot about that scene. And yet there's those scenes that I could probably recite for you right now. I'm sure you guys feel that way about your work over the years.
Yeah.
Yes, where something stays with you, a monologue or something.
A monologue.
It's something that you drilled and drilled, right?
The audition scene. It's always the audition scene. I think I remember every audition scene for everything I've ever auditioned for.
Do you find that when you audition for something and then you don't get it and you see the movie or the TV show or whatever it is, and then you're like, audition scene. That was the audition. Like you immediately peg it. Or you can actually pull it out even if it's not something you auditioned for. You always know. You're like, oh, that was definitely the audition scene.
That was like the big scene or the meaty scene or the really funny scene. Totally.
Exactly.
It was a good time to give a shout out to the writers, right?
Yes.
Crazy time.
Supporting the writers all the way, of course.
Party of Five, you went there. I mean, and in the 90s, there was a lot of like 90210. They went there as well. But there were shows that were, really poppy, pure entertainment. Mm-hmm. And then there was Party of Five that was one of the first that I remember with young people that like explored really serious issues.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was, I learned so much on the show. I mean, I remember the first time I had to cry in a scene. I had never had to do that before. I was 11 years old and it was hard, and I realized that as I get looking back, I'm like, I had to kind of come up with my own process of like how to make that happen. But I loved that challenge. And again, because it was so well written, it made it so much easier. And, my character grew up on the show just as I was in real life.
I remember going with Scott. You were on the Fox lot, right? There was a lot going on there. That was a fun place to work.
Yeah, that was where we auditioned, I think. And I think we were on the Fox lot when they told us that we all got the part, which was really nice. That never really happens usually, that they tell you in person, and they like fall into the room and they're like, you're our Salingers. It's like,
And Scott said you all looked around and you were like, yeah, we are. We kind of like you could all see it. You had already felt it from, some of the chemistry reads and you just kind of all looked like a family, he said. And it really,
right.
So special.
True. Yeah. And then we filmed the show on the Sony lot. And so we were there for 6 years. And every time I go on the lot, I think about, it just brings back all those memories.
But before that, and this was something that I spotted with David right before you came on, that, as a musical theater lover / nerd, like I see everything. I love it all. David would always make fun of me that I didn't know any like rock music when we first met as teenagers. Everything was show tunes.
And Amy Grant, right?
I loved it. I loved her. And the best. But Broadway and Cosette, and there's a voice in there. Tell us how that happened, and also, do you still do it? Do you still sing and do musical theater at all?
I don't really sing that much professionally, but it's something that is deep down inside of my heart, and I think I would like to sing in something in the future. I definitely, would need to get back in vocal shape and all of that stuff. But yeah, it was a huge part of my life. I grew up in the South. I'm from Mississippi. And, I did like pageants and would sing in them. It's just what everyone did at that time. And I
saw you on a clip on Star Search, and it could be the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Stop.
She was like find 5 years old. What were you singing?
I was singing, oh my goodness. I think I sang Happy Days Are Here Again. Like,
yes. Oh my God. And Jay Leno played it for you, right?
Yes. All the memories always coming back around. And I mean, I would sing in church. I'd sing in school plays, and I just loved singing. And my grandmother would drive me and my sisters to voice lessons when we were really little. So when we moved to New York and started, doing commercials and things in the business, I was about 7 or 8. And I auditioned for Les Miserables. I think I auditioned a couple of times before I got it, and then was in the show for about 2.5 years. And
what? You did a Broadway show for 2.5 years?
Yeah.
Like eight shows a week?
There were other kids there, so we would alternate, so we didn't go on, every single show, but we'd go and just hang out and play backstage, which was the best. But on my 10th birthday, I walk into the theater. I've got cupcakes that my mom made for me. She dropped me off. I mean, this is before cell phones, And I run in, and both of the boys who played Gavroche are out sick last minute. So they put my hair in a hat, and I went on as Gavroche. I was the understudy.
As a boy. Oh my gosh. And you just knew the part?
Well, I had just become the understudy like maybe a month before. So I knew the music because I heard it every night and every day.
Right.
But I just had started to learn the choreography. So the cast was just amazing, and they just like would whisper in my ear, tell me where to go and what to do. And he has this really amazing, tragic and heartbreaking part. But I think about that moment a lot in life. As an adult, I'm like, if I could rise to the challenge when I was 10 years old, I think I can handle this moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's like going to war. I mean, but you're too young to be scared, right? Like,
yeah, that's the thing. You don't have that self-conscious as much,
right?
Self-awareness. You kind of just, you're there.
You're fearless.
Fun. You're fearless. And it's such a good thing to remember.
Oh, that is the coolest. That is like everybody's kind of worst, nightmare in your dream that happens. And in the dream, you don't know the lyrics and the choreography and then the dream. All bad things happen, but it magically happened for you. That's really cool.
Yeah,
really
that
cool.
song, Castle on a Cloud, right?
Castle on a Cloud. Yeah, Young Cosette. I sang
the most
that
beautiful.
1,000 times, I think, probably. I have the best memories from the show. And you know what? I think it's what taught me like a good work ethic. To really be part of a team and to understand how important every single person is and that you have to do your part and show up, for everyone else's sake also. And I think I've carried that with me throughout my career. So I'm really thankful for that lesson.
Yeah, starting in theater is, I think, the best thing to do because you do learn the work ethic, but you learn the camaraderie and how to support each other.
Yeah.
And it obviously propelled you. Let's talk about Mean Girls. I mean,
yeah.
that I had never seen it, but my daughters are huge fans of the movie. So I watched most of the movie this morning, and man, you guys were mean. Like really awful.
I know, really awful, right? But also a little misunderstood and also,
Insecure, right? Yeah.
Insecure and all the things. But it's such a universal theme. I mean, I don't think you have to be in high school to relate to that movie. Like there's so much in it that we relate to at all stages of our lives. And I think there's such a good message in that movie. And that was just another thing that I auditioned for. I loved the script. I thought it was amazing. You go on lots of auditions not expecting to hear anything back. And lo and behold, I get this job and it ends up being one of the best experiences ever. And
that has lived on. I mean, that is...
It's a Broadway show also, talking about Broadway, right? They made it into a...
I saw the show, I think, 3 years ago, and it was amazing. It was so well done.
It is. Yeah, it was wonderful. It was such a fun musical. And now they're, I think, making the movie of the musical.
Yes.
Wait.
Like they did that with Hairspray. They did that with Hairspray also.
Wait, remember, they take a movie, they make it into a musical, and then they turn it back
into a musical movie. They did it with Hairspray too. Yeah.
You would know.
Yeah.
You can't. Yes. Basically, the world needs more Mean Girls in every way, shape, and form, it seems.
The thing is, though, it was a satirical script from what I saw this morning when I watched it. But I feel like people or the audience looked at it and wanted to be the mean girl, as opposed to, the mirror reflection of like, oh my God, we're horrible as a society. I feel like the girls admired the mean girls, the audience.
I mean, maybe in some ways, but I hope not in all the ways for sure. But yeah, I think it's a movie that you find yourself in some character, right. or find like, oh, I was like that in high school, or I knew someone like that in high school. Like it is very, very relatable. But at the end of the day,
or even the mom, Amy Poehler, who's just like trying to win her, trying to please her daughter at all costs, right?
Yes.
And the daughter's like, shut up and stop talking.
Whenever she was in a scene, I have a really hard time not laughing. I'm always the one that breaks first, and there's no I can't come back. And anytime she was around, or Tina, the whole cast, I just would be tears rolling down my cheeks laughing.
How many years out of Party of Five had you been before Mean Girls? Or was it sort of right after?
No, it was a few years. I was 17 when Party of Five ended, and I turned 21 on set of filming Mean Girls.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so it was a few years.
What a great way to transition off of a long-running show. What a great role that was.
Yeah, it was such a great role. It was such a gift. And you know what? It's a hard transition, to go from being a kid to a young adult and trying to figure out what types of roles should I be playing. And coming from such a serious show, I didn't know as much about comedy. So I learned a lot. And wonderful director, Mark Waters. And I ended up working with him again in Ghost of Girlfriend's Past, where I got to play a bride who was consumed with a perfect wedding. Just really fun. I've enjoyed all of it. People always ask me, like, what's your favorite thing? Would you want to do more theater or TV? And I just love, I've had good experiences in all the ways. So I hope I get to do more of all of it.
Yeah, it was a great cast too, man. Like, Lindsay, Rachel, Amanda, everybody, was like top of their game.
Yeah, they're all so wonderful. We have a lot of really good friendships from the movie.
You have kids?
I have a 6-year-old daughter. Yeah, she's just finishing up kindergarten. Okay. And she's the best. I could gush all day. I won't, but she's the light of my life, of course. But you talked about your teenage daughters, or you have 2 daughters, or?
I do. I have one in college and a 13-year-old. But yeah, 6 years old is like, you just want to eat them up.
Delicious. Yes. Just, she's the best. But I think I do some days get a glimpse of what the teenagers might be. And it's like, oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they're also, today I feel like they're so much more mature. Girls, I think naturally are, they mature much quicker. But I found like, I was having these intellectual conversations about, I remember with my daughter, she would just say, she would really, do a PowerPoint for Ben and I of why we should get a pig. And it was a full PowerPoint. And I was like, a pig.
A pet pig?
A pet pig. She wanted a pet piggy. And I remember she really wanted to prove, like she was so intellectual about it. She gave us facts about how smart they are, about how clean they are. She did all, and she was, I kid you not, she was like 6 or 7 when she did a full PowerPoint presentation.
Did she win?
Did you get
a pig?
She did not win. And I kind of wish that she had, but pigs live a really long time. So I said, you'll be like out of the house and married, and I'll still be the one for the pig. So we're not doing the pig. We're not doing
But
the
she's
pig.
like, Mom, but there will be someone to keep you company when I'm gone.
Yes, exactly.
I know what you mean, though. My daughter's the same way. No is not an answer. Everything is very explained, exactly why. And then there are follow-up questions. And sometimes you're just like, okay, the answer is no.
Right. I know. Sometimes it just has to be
but I also
that
love
word.
that about her and our kids, that they are so mature these days. Like I love that. I feel like she's going to take up for herself and, and follow through and ask questions and all of that. I love that.
Yes, they are ready to take on the world. They are, there is a fearlessness, which I think is wonderful. Yeah. And so tell us a little bit about Hallmark.
Oh my goodness.
Because that is sort of, now how long have you been part of the Hallmark family? I've talked about it with, I think, a couple of our other guests. I was lucky enough to do one Hallmark movie, a Christmas movie back in the day.
Was it with Kelly Martin?
It was not with Kelly Martin, but it was. I loved my experience, and then I moved to New York, and I always just say they were so wonderful there, and they are just doing such great things. So when did that start, and how has that been?
That's so good to hear. I have the same thing to say. Honestly, I think I did my first one about 13 years ago. It was called Elevator Girl. And now I've done 37 of them. And
what? Wait, whoa. What? Wait. You've done 37 Hallmark movies?
Yeah.
What do you do? Like,
is that a record? Is that a record, or just somebody?
I don't know. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure, but
I hope you are a part owner of the company.
I'm not.
I am not.
But I just love them. I've really found a home there, and it's like, and it's because you work with a certain group of people that long, and you become family, and there's such a familiarity there. And the one that I'm talking about now, the Dancing Detective, I love because we've been able to mix it up. It's a mystery, but it's a real adventure. There's a lot of comedy in it. I love doing the Christmas ones. I've done a few that are a bit more dramatic. We did the Wedding Veil trilogy and ended up getting to do another trilogy. And that was the first time a few of us ladies from the network were able to be in a movie together, which was really important to me. And, they've allowed me to grow as an actress and a producer. And
you produced the films as well?
Yeah,
that's wonderful.
I do now. And it's something that I'm so thankful for, because I've learned so much, and we get to have a real voice in the development of the projects and what kind of stories we bring to life. And they're happy movies. And even in the mystery, like, there's still that joyfulness and brightness that you depend on for Hallmark. Like, there's still a way that that's infused in there. And I think now more than ever, I feel really grateful to be a part of that, because we just need that. When people stop me all the time and go, thank you for making these movies. They make us happy. And, thanks for bringing a little joy to my living room. And I feel really honored to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much there's talk about Mean Girls. There's a lot of mean-spirited, dark stuff out there.
Yeah.
And it's nice to be a part of something that really is like wholesome and feel good.
Yeah, when you have a network that is a safe zone, right? For because I think now we're so inundated with, you can find whatever you want. There's a million things streaming. If you have DirecTV or you scroll through your channels or whatever it is, but there is something cozy and safe and warm about Hallmark.
I think cozy is such a good word.
And it started with the cards. It started with the Hallmark cards back in the day, right?
Yeah.
That was that really, it's just sort of like this sort of these slices of life moments. But I think it is that people really do need and yearn for, I think that's why it's so fun with the Christmas movies too, when they just start from before Thanksgiving. They're just on 24/7, right? Yeah. On a loop throughout the holiday season. And you just know that it doesn't matter what time of day, you can just put it on, see a new one, see an old one you loved. And that's just how wonderful to be such a big part of that, and to be, sort of getting to work with so many wonderful women and people. I think that's great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. And you know what? We all support each other. We all post about each other's movies when we can. And, I watch most of all the movies that I can. My daughter can watch the movies that I make. That's something I really value at this point in my life. And like you said, they're kind of the comfort food of, movies brought to your list.
Yeah.
So I try to make each one better than the last, and, do the best we can. And I have so much fun making them.
I mean, we feel the same way about the 90s decade. I mean, Christine and I always talk about this. It was just such a happy, I don't know, more innocent time before all the distractions came along. And that's why we're looking back on that decade. It's sort of like just a comfort,
Yes. I love that you guys do this. I love that. And, I was just doing a different interview, and they brought up some pictures of me from the early 90s. Like,
oh boy,
carpet pictures, yeah. Wow. That was, I think I wore my overalls and Converse high tops to some red carpet event.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, nice.
Where I'm like, I think there was one with like a tie for a belt and like a crop top.
Sweet.
So good. So good. So thrilled that all of these images last forever.
Yeah, they are forever captured. They never go away.
Getty Images.
Getty Images.
Who are the other actresses on Hallmark that you're talking about? Who are the other actors?
Oh, there's a lot of people. Allison Sweeney and Autumn Reeser and we do the Wedding Veil series together. So that was a really fun one that followed a magical veil, and we all fell in love and got married, and then we got to see what happened to them after they got married. There are so many talented people, and so many wonderful men as well.
Do you sort of map out your year based on what that schedule is going to be? Or do they sort of come when they come and you take your time in developing them? Or is it really like you look ahead and you're like, okay,
we do our best
next year?
Yeah, we do our best. Look ahead. But as everyone knows, this business, you got to be flexible.
Well, you've done 37 of them, so yes, you work it out. Obviously.
We do our absolute best to figure it out and work it out. And each one is an adventure. And I usually get to bring my family, which is the greatest blessing of it all.
That's so cool. It's got to be wonderful for your daughter to see. Yeah. To see you doing what you love. And, I think that's the most important thing. I remember when my kids were really little, I wasn't working. And then, in fact, I think maybe that Hallmark Christmas movie was one of the things that I did that took me away for about a month. And I just remember my daughter is like, Mommy, you're so happy when you're working. It's so great, and I really feel like it was the first time she understood that work doesn't have to be, you see it on TV as something that's really tough. If it's something you love, you can enjoy it, and it can bring so much more joy to you and to the kids. And so congratulations on all of it. I know you're in the midst of lots of promotion right now, so we are going to let you go.
No, you guys are so wonderful. I enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Such a pleasure.
Dancing Detective on Hallmark.
Yeah, and it's on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries channel. So it's not
okay.
Hallmark
Perfect.
channel, it's the Movies and Mysteries channel.
That's how popular it has gotten. There is an offshoot.
Oh, there's spin-off. Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's where
that's what happens.
Where the mysteries live.
Okay,
All right.
perfect.
People need it.
Yes.
Great to
Thank
see you, Lacey.
You too. So good to see both of you.
Wow, what a sweetheart, right?
That was great. I still see her as the there's so many things that we could have talked to her about, but I know she had very limited time. She's sort of in the middle of all of her press for the show, but
she could still be like 20 years old.
That's what I was going to say.
She has not aged at all.
And I noticed too, it says that she does a lot of voiceover work too. And she has that voice that is like that enviable voice where like she's probably she's in a lot of animated shows.
Yeah, I saw Family Guy.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, really, again, I feel like we're sort of working our way. We've got 2 of the Party of 5 bunch, so maybe we will continue to work our way through that cast.
Oh yeah, well you're friends with Nev Campbell. Get Nev in here.
I know. We have.
I know.
Exactly. A lot of people are very private.
Mm-hmm.
But this was really terrific. I am going to be seeing you in person.
Oh yes, tomorrow.
And now, for anybody who's listening to this, we will have already seen each other because it's not in real time. But yes, we will. Yes, our Austin trip is here, and we're gonna have a lot of fun, and we're gonna get to meet a bunch of other cool iHeart podcasters. That there's people that I think we know already. Some I don't know. I was looking at our list, and so we will. We'll have fun.
And I think we have a great guest in Austin.
Yes. I'm excited.
Keep it a secret as usual.
I think people will guess. I'm going to guess that people will guess.
You know what they asked me to do? I guess I got to say, because we have a little time. Because we're going to be there anyway, I was going to leave Friday afternoon, but they said there's a Cheers reunion on Friday from 7 to 9. And they said James Burrows, Glenn and Les Charles, Ted Danson, John Ratzenberger, George Wendt, who played my boss on Sabrina. So I've worked with them.
Sweet.
They said they're going to do a reading of the original Cheers pilot.
Oh my gosh.
And they asked me to play the role of Coach.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
How fun.
Yeah. They were like, would you be interested in staying and doing this? I'm like, heck yeah.
That is so cool. I know I saw the original pilot, but I don't remember it. But who played Coach? Was it?
Well, he passed away. That's why Woody came in. Woody, Coach was
that character. Yes.
Right. Coach was the
he
was wise idiot kind of,
right.
like Woody.
Yep. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Then they brought in Woody Harrelson. Exactly.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
I know. It was like a little surprise thing. But they do a great job at ATX. I mean, it's so much fun there.
Are they doing any of the original cast members reading, or is it all like age appropriate kind of?
No, I think like they pulled actors or actresses that are there for other things and are doing like a reading a read through of the pilot, and then there's the band, the musician who sings "Sometimes You Wanna Go." The theme song they're going to perform.
You can keep going. You can keep singing.
We have time, right?
I'm taking off my pink sweater.
Where everybody knows. But then, then the cast and James Burrows and the Charles brothers are going to do a panel. But I think so. We're
very cool.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to our panel and our episode. Just to be in Austin. I mean, such a great city.
Yes. It'll be great. It'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's our first little trip.
And you know what? We'll be doing an episode in the same room, which I think is really makes. I'm so excited.
I know the last time we did that was our first episode, was our Hey Dude Gang. And yeah, I feel like we thought we were going to be able to do that so much more when we first talked about it. We were like, I'm in LA all the time. And you're like, I'm in New York all the time. And it has just been the busiest year. So, when that does happen, that is our intention, I think, to try to do it together as much as possible. It just hasn't happened.
With Joey Lawrence yesterday, and he said, he and his brothers, they film and record like 5 episodes in a day.
Exactly.
So he was like, why don't you go to New York and line up a bunch of episodes? Christine flies to LA. We line up a bunch of episodes and we bank a bunch of stuff. But
yeah. I like the way Joey's thinking.
He's like, you guys should be in the same room.
All right. Do we have any other business to discuss, or are we going to wrap up?
I think we wrap up. Lacey Chabert was amazing, and let's pick this up in Austin for next week's episode.
Yes, and come back and join us for our surprise Austin guest, where David and I will be in the same room, reunited. I think December was our last time, thank you as always for tuning in, for listening, for your questions, for your suggestions, and our little growing Instagram account. It's really exciting. I really feel like we've got such a good
bunch with us. The iHeart social media team does a great job. And thank you everyone for listening. And we will next week we'll be doing a show from Austin, Texas at ATX, and we have a great guest. So everybody have a great week. And Christine, I will see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. Make sure to subscribe and give us 5 stars.
And please follow us on Instagram at Hey Dude, the 90s Called. See you next time.